Okay, welcome to Lobo Den Podcast. Today we had Damon Williams, Chicago legend. We talk comedy, we talk cocaine, drugs, subways, Jared, hustle man who sold me, tried to sell me VHS with a VHS player.
In 2023.
Yeah, 2023. You know, being a Rolling Stone, maybe drinking too much, maybe getting caught, and fucking Chicago comedy scene. Okay, Lobo Den. Lobo Den Podcast. I'm your host, Giovanni Diaz. To my left is Justin Smith, Common Glyph Studios, and across from me, Chicago legend Damon Williams. We finally are recording the podcast. He was coming to the studio yesterday when I was in Kenosha with my baby. But Damon, welcome. We finally did the podcast here, man. You started doing comedy a while ago, right?
Yes.
You started. I forgot when did you start? Why did you start doing comedy? How did it start? You were
Well, it was just the time, the era, you know, it was the Def Comedy Jam era.
Yeah.
I was influenced by Eddie Murphy from the Delirious, the first video, and then Raw. And then I saw him live. But I always loved comedy as a kid, you know, so yeah.
Was it before this is the Subway or the gym or you met somebody? I forgot. Exactly.
So I used to own a Subway sandwich shop from
You're not Indian.
No, I'm not.
You're the only Indian who didn't own a Subway.
Yeah. Well, I was probably the only African American and the youngest at the time. This was in 1990. I was 25, downtown Lake and Wabash. It was a food court. So some guys that were members at a gym down the street were yapping about, you know, the big lip girl that was hosting open mic at this club. And it happened to be really literally down the street. I was on Wabash 185.
Who the host was it?
Adele Givens.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was 1,000 South Wabash, All Jokes Aside, legendary club.
All Jokes Aside, yeah.
Yeah. They got a documentary and a book about it. It was just an amazing era. You know, everybody came to
Bernie Mac,
George Wallace. You know, I met them there. Sid, DL, Steve, all the Kings. People like Marshall Warfield and the list goes on.
Alan Edge out of Milwaukee.
Yeah, I know Alan. Yeah,
love Alan.
Yeah, Alan the mailman.
Yeah, he does the speeches now.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of commercial work too, stuff. But yeah, I know Alan. Everybody was from that day. So I ended up taking over that open mic night, which was Wednesday night, became Apollo night, and it launched a lot of careers out of there.
And it was that's right before. What was Lindsay's? Jokes and Notes, right?
Yeah,
because it's developed.
That's the precursor.
And so what I heard was Lindsay, I don't know if this is true. Lindsay was like, all right, we're gonna not promise you this club, but we're gonna build around it, right? And then it never happened. Did you ever hear that one about Jokes and Notes? Like, we're gonna build around it, and it never happened. Like that?
No, I don't know if she was going to try to expand it, but that was a cool spot too, you know, because it was small and intimate. But it was the spinoff of All Jokes Aside, which was the Mecca.
How'd you get Comic View? How'd you get on Comic View? No, sure.
Young lady Diane Quarter, comedian from Chicago. She's a legendary comic for us. She would hold a mass audition at the Click. The Comedy Click was a room. She sent in a VHS and they selected me. And then the following couple of seasons after that, I started doing the same thing she was doing, and I got people on there like D. Ray Davis and the list, Lil Real, all those guys came through the Comic View audition, so to speak, that we did. So what I decided to do after me and B. Cole, Cheryl Underwood, the three of us were finalists. It was a competition show. Once we had our season, I wanted to get other people on. So as opposed to telling them to do what I did, which was sending an individual tape, I'm like, you know, let's do a mass tape. Sending everybody, and we got 25, 26.
A bunch of Chicago people. Is my mic a little bit weird? Do I sound a little reverby a little bit? Can you hear me? I sound a lot of reverb here.
Yeah.
So I just want to double check because
we hate to do these stories over.
Huh?
We'd hate to.
No. I think all right. I'm better there. No, we'll keep it going. We could be going. But anyways, you took over. You just took over Riddles, sort of.
Yeah, I book Friday and Saturday.
Okay,
we'll put it that way. So I revitalize Riddles. I say I curate the weekends. And that's been going well. I just had Sherry Shepherd there, as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this past weekend. So, and that was massive. You know, she has the #1 daytime talk show, and she's from Chicago. She was coming home to work with the Fox affiliate, and she hit me up like, I want to do Riddles while I'm there. So, got that type of relationship with a lot of people.
But you have the good setup where it's like you're doing the booking, like how it's just I was thinking about how it's supposed to be. You're booking the talent, like you're promoting your marketing, and they're taking care of.
They do all the overhead, and they get the bar. I get the door.
I love the door.
Yeah,
that's when I would do shows, producing shows. I want the door.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want that. And it's like, that's
because otherwise it's
it's
just a storefront. You know, that's the thing we have to really learn as comedians, that we have the power, but a lot of times we don't use the leverage that we possess, because there's no comedy show without a comedian. But a lot of times the club owners dangle stage time out like a carrot. Whereas if we all just didn't go, you know, like in LA, they were doing that real big, the Comedy Store, if you've seen some of the stuff, the improv and such. And the comics had to have a little boycott, and they got from getting paid.
In the 70s, they weren't getting paid anything.
Yeah, from nothing to like $20.
$20.
Yeah, so now it might be up to $50 or something stupid like that. And back then, though, and even now, you would think you're in LA, maybe somebody, Spielberg, will come in to see you. But really and truly, they're still just exploiting comedians.
So people, like comics they'll do a show, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I'm going to get paid X amount. Like I've been on the other side. I produce a show, and it's like, you can make money producing shows.
Of course.
But if you got like comics, there's a lot of work that gets put into it. And a lot of comics don't want to do it, but it's like, they'll go and just I want to do my set, get paid my 20, 60, $50 or whatever, and get the fuck out of here. But if you put the effort, if you grow the list, like, what's it? I don't want to bring up Dan Cook, but Dan Cook started where
MySpace. Yeah, he was one of the first social media phenoms as far as utilizing that to sell clubs.
You got an email list, right?
Yeah.
Like Mike Yo.
Yeah.
He started with his email list and built the email list. And that's like now Mike Yo's coming like, I don't know, 20 years or something like that?
At least.
But you, where'd you grow up?
South Side. Initially in Inglewood, and then we moved to the Beverly area.
Beverly has more white people? Because there's a country club, Beverly Country Club.
Yeah,
that's how I have it in my head.
So what happened? When we moved there, the Beverly Hills was designated a little further east than it was, and then as more black people came, they moved it up the hill some more. They changed the goalpost.
They get out the way.
Yeah, they labeled us Brainerd, but my mother moved us out there in the 70s, so it was still a beautiful place, and it still is to this day. She still lives there, as a matter of fact. But I grew up 95th Street, right off of Ashland, just put it that way, and went to elementary school in that area, and then went to Lindblom.
Brothers and sisters, how many?
Total of 4 of us at home, and then my dad, got his own set.
Rolling Stone.
But no, I'm one of the Stones. So if that's the case, yeah. But a good dude, man. My father was an Air Force pilot in the 50s, and he became a chemist, and did his thing.
So did your parents didn't stay together, or they weren't together?
No, they weren't when I was born. So
okay,
yeah.
Pop. Yeah, my dad. I got 2 brothers that I found out about maybe like a few years ago when I went to Mexico. I thought I had 1, and then I was in Mexico and I was there with my cousin. I was like, "Who's this other dude over here? Like, what? Who is this guy?"
Right.
And I was like, I didn't want to ask him, like, "Hey, are you my brother?" Right. And he was like, so I asked my cousin, he's like, "Yeah, they're both your brothers." So then I got through, but like he's better now. Have you had these before? I just found these right on the Walgreens here. Tangy ketchup.
No, I haven't seen them.
Has anybody tried these? Do you want to try one or no?
I don't know if that's going to go with the whiskey. That reminds me of the first time I got drunk off Wild Irish Rose and eating Cheetos.
Wild Irish Rose.
Yeah.
The percentage of alcohol, because that's not a lot of booze, right? That's almost like a Mad Dog.
Yeah, it's in that category.
I even drink that.
I was in my teens, and we drank that, and then we had and it was an old brick bottle.
Oh, that's like a Mad Dog.
Yeah.
That's mostly sugar.
It was horrible. Yeah. And it didn't go with Cheetos. So I'm passing.
Now, let me see. Wine to ship under 21. No, you put under. No, you got to put your over 20.
Right.
20 over. I just want to see it doesn't show the percentage.
By volume.
But this is like a Mad Dog 20. Did you drink? This is what I remember. Mad Dog 2020s.
Right.
Irish Rose, and then there was another one that Boone's Farm.
Boone's Farm.
It had barely. How'd you end up
And the
with
other
this?
one was white pork. Just peer pressure and hanging with older dudes. You know, it was cheap and
Gangbangers?
no, just we all were in a neighborhood. We didn't have gang stipulations when I was younger.
Okay.
Then it kind of got organized.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which gangs?
When I came up, it was only the Blackstones and the Disciple.
Okay.
And then the factions of such. But and Vice Lords was out west. But yeah,
And were you at a house party with this?
absolutely in the basement.
Okay. Now, did you drink? Was this to impress a lady? Were you a ladies' man yet, or?
Always been a ladies' man. But
Okay.
no, that was just for the fellas. We used to get full, get blowed, man. Get drunk. But I wasn't trying to
weed?
get
It
drunk.
was just weed and alcohol, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How was the weed back in?
In 79,
Yeah.
that's when that was.
Did you get
78, 79. You did, but it's not like now. It was like, you could function. This is narcotics they smoking now. It's ridiculous.
Do you do the new weed at the dispensaries?
Actually, I just got a connection with a dispensary in the south suburbs, Lux Leaf, and I haven't tried their wares yet. But I've had, California. I travel, so I'm.
Holy shit! I just looked at the price. $2.59 a bottle. Do you remember how much this was?
Oh, it probably was. It probably hasn't gone up since then, and that's to be honest, it might have been like $1.50. But that was back in the day.
Okay, leave Irish Rose. What'd you move to? What was the next? Because we're at Black Label right now.
We started drinking E&J brandy,
E&J,
and then we moved up to Crown Royal. Yeah, so Crown.
cognac.
Yeah, no, Crown Royal's a whiskey.
What's not?
Yeah,
Hennessy's
Canadian
cognac.
Yeah, Hennessy. Yeah, I never really did Hennessy, but Crown Royal in the summer, like my older brother and his friends, they had girls and they would do Crown Royal and pineapple juice on the rocks, and it was a tasty drink, but it was potent. We at the lakefront, the Point, 55th, whatever, and everybody was tips.
No, were you the funny guy? There it is. Oh, I sound good. Yeah. Were you the funny guy at the party, or was everybody funny in your family? Were your parents funny? Was the storytelling like brothers and sisters?
No, humor wasn't really a big part of growing up for me. And I didn't even find my comedic personality until I was maybe 18, 19, working at City Hall. And
Did you work with Joey?
No.
No, okay, because I know he worked at City Hall.
Yeah, we were way far apart. I stopped working to open my Subway. So that was from 84 to 89 is when I worked at City Hall during the Harold Washington administration. And I was a temp. I got a job through a temp agency. So I started when I was 18. I stayed there and I came back.
Were you the funny guy at the office or no?
Yeah, because that's by now, Trading Places is out and Eddie Murphy's influencing me. And they used to call me Eddie, so I was doing
angle this up a little bit more towards
my best Eddie. Yeah.
What's your favorite Eddie Murphy movie from the 80s?
From the 80s, that would have to be Trading Places.
Trading Places.
Yeah.
Overcoming America, right? The right.
Well, I don't know.
You've never seen them, right?
What's Coming to America? Was that still the 80s?
I'm going to say it's the 80s.
Right.
I don't
From the back
it
in the
could be
day.
1995. I'm going to say it's the 80s.
Exactly.
I see it as the 80s.
But yeah, 48 Hours was the bomb because he was brash and it was the first time we saw a brother leading.
Kind of racist.
Yeah.
I just saw it the other day for the first time.
Yeah, a lot of racism in it. Yeah.
I don't.
Everything was racist, everything homophobic, everything misogynistic. I just saw a clip somebody sent out from I can't think of the movie. It's a movie about an interracial girl, Natalie Wood, whatever. And the guy said, "Are you a nigger?" And he called it, and then he smacked her. And I'm like, he just smacked the woman, and that was acceptable.
I just saw that. Pulled it. Natalie Wood.
Yeah.
N-word.
What is it?
Something
of life, something like that. But
because it's a husband and wife, right? I just saw that the other day. I saw these clips like the 90s were wilding. Natalie Wood. Put N-word.
That's one. It's that. That's our picture, though.
Yeah. You could put N-word. You don't have to spell it out. Put N-word. And then we'll go to videos. Oh, it was. Let's see. No, I can't. Man, I just saw this clip the other day. I can't remember the movie.
But anyway, it was just wild how they used to just be wilding on in the films, and like I said, the misogynistic aspect of it. They slap a woman.
Back to the Future. I'm not going to say it, but he's like, they show up. Did you see Back to the Future?
Yeah.
He calls him first of all, this is a few things. He calls him. I won't say It rhymes with books, right?
Okay.
And put an S in front of it, S-P-O-A-K's. He calls them that. And then I've heard people talk about this. The Biff basically like almost raped his wife, and he was like, and when he's older, this is a dude that almost raped my wife.
Right.
Now he's cleaning my cars for me.
Yeah, he fell off.
Like
But you still gave him a job.
Yeah, he just gave him a job. But look, Coming to America, man, it's like
Now, Coming to America is a classic.
I refused to watch the second one, but I didn't watch it because I heard one thing about. And then I didn't want to ruin what I had with Coming to America. I don't know, did you watch part 2 or?
Yeah, we watched it and it was okay. 25 years later, what'd you expect? So the storyline was kind of weak, but.
What was the new story? What happened now?
His son was getting married or something like that. He's looking for a bride. I don't even remember. I only watched it once.
Yeah.
So that tells you about it right there. But I'm a big Eddie Murphy fan. I'm cool with Arsenio. We talk all the time on Instagram. But we met through doing the Tom Joyner Morning Show because we would be doing it simulcast from different locations, but we kick it. So I'm real tired. I went to his taping a couple times, and As a matter of fact, I went to his taping when Eddie was on there, and I thought I'd finally get a chance. That's the one guy I haven't met yet, and I thought I was gonna have a chance. And they cleared us all out from the back when Eddie came. And I'm like,
So Eddie Murphy, man, Arsenio Hall. Pull up Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy. Arsenio Hall was. I want to see how many roles Eddie Murphy played because you don't see it anymore, right? He played he was a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Put in Eddie Murphy Jew.
He was the old guy.
He was the old Jew.
He was the old black guy.
They're right there. Yeah.
He was a barber. He was.
Go to images. What's his name was the director? I forgot his fucking name.
That's not John Landis, is it? I don't think.
Yeah, it is John Landis.
Was it?
He directed. So, one of my favorite scenes I still like when you pay. Do you own or you pay rent?
I own.
Okay. Remember the scene? Rent's due, motherfucker.
Yeah, he fell down the steps, and he was like, "And don't pull that falling down the steps shit anymore."
He's in drag though. So, there he is. There's. I always
That's Arsenio in drag. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Arsenio in drag right here.
So Arsenio played multiple roles in that film too, because he also played the old preacher.
Wait.
The one who said "sexy chocolate."
Sexy chocolate was Arsenio?
Yeah. Arsenio was the host of it. You remember he brought him up. Y'all, Reginald, whatever his name was. And he said, then Sexy Chocolate was Eddie Murphy. That was another role.
Chocolate. Do you know Sexual Chocolate? I don't want you to see a little bit of Sexual Chocolate. There's videos here.
It was the name of the band.
Mr. Randy Watson.
Randy Watson.
Mr. Randy's
and his band was Sexual Chocolate.
Pull up Sexual Chocolate.
And he dropped the mic, Sexy Chocolate.
I want to see Sexual Chocolate really quick.
Randy Watson.
Yeah, we'll pull like a little bit of Sexual Chocolate.
That's Arsenio.
That's Arsenio. And then skip a little bit ahead to Mr. Randy Watson.
She's from Chicago.
Oh, who's that?
She used to be a Soul Train dancer.
Oh, Soul Train. That's Arsenio.
And there's Arsenio.
So here's what happened. Eddie Murphy is a prince in Zamunda, right? Zamunda. And in traditional African weddings, it's arranged weddings. Indians, it's going to be arranged.
That's Eddie too.
Wait, what'd you go back? Oh, the little
old guy. Yeah.
That's Eddie Murphy. Oh, with the big teeth, horse teeth. So he goes over there, and Eddie's like, man, he's going to look for a wife. His dad's trying to think who is James Earl Jones. Right. Darth Vader. He thinks he's going to go. And
so is his Royal Oats.
When did you, are you married? Are you single?
Yeah, I'm married.
Oh, okay. You're married here. But you had, when did you get married?
When? Mm-hmm. I got married in 2000.
Like within your comedy career?
I've been married twice since I've been a comedian.
Okay. Yeah. Was the first marriage, the comedy was the reason for the divorce partially or non-related? Because it's a question.
It was probably the hoes.
Because
It wasn't the jokes, no. It's the girls that come with it. No, it was just,
because you're traveling.
we were together alone. No, but that's no excuse. I mean, because I travel now, and my marriage is completely happy. But I was in a different space mentally, and it was just we were unevenly yoked, as they like to say.
That happened to me.
And then we became good friends afterwards. So we're still cool now.
Did that
too late.
The same thing happened to me. Like when I was with a girl, she was ready to settle down, and I was blackout drunk almost like every weekend type of thing. And then a lot of, man, you know what's fucked up? I was driving here, right? I came from Elk Grove where my work, and I don't know if I told you this. I was thinking Western always fucks me up because I had to come back by this Target, like getting off by Western to go pick up my ID because there's this girl who, it was on my birthday. On my birthday, I was at like some club or something, and I met some girl. We went to the car, went down on this girl, and then for some reason, she ended up with my ID or something. Oh, because it was in her car.
Yeah.
It was in her car. Then drove, and that morning, that person I was with, who was ready to settle down, and I'm over here on out, took me out to breakfast or whatever. Man, like, I felt like I did it, but I felt like, damn, this is scummy. Like, this is fucked up. And whenever I never told you this, but whenever I drive through Western, it's stuck in my head. Like, that's a fucked up shit. Like, I'm over here having breakfast, eating, and about 6 hours ago, I was,
Eating.
Yeah, I was eating.
Right.
And that the breakfast was better.
Right.
Shout out to Chuck Wagon in Waukegan, the Ratana. It's a great breakfast place.
Okay.
But like, I don't know if I had.
Well, at least you've matured, and now you have a conscience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have, how many kids do you have?
I have one biological son. He has a sister. So I raised the two of them. And then my wife now has two adults.
Now, do they want to do comedy or no?
No, but my son is very entertainment oriented. He's done humorous things, hosting, but he's a poet more so than a comic. And now he has music out. But he also is an activist and a mentor. And he's actually just got named to be on Brandon Johnson's transition subcommittee for the arts. But he's a cool, eclectic little dude, man. So he's 30 now, though.
So growing up, Eddie Murphy,
Right.
influence.
Prior to Eddie, though, Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor. I didn't even know Richard Pryor was a comedian growing up.
Crazy.
I thought I just knew him from the movies with that white
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Right. Now, we were so happy to see the movies because Richard Pryor's era was albums and tapes. Mm-hmm. So you had to visualize the humor because you didn't see it. The only time we got the chance to see him, because this is prior to VCRs or whatever, was when he hosted Saturday Night Live with Chevy Chase. And so we had
Chevy Chase called him an N-word.
Yeah, in the skit.
That's just what you do.
Yeah, exactly. They got
hard R too.
Yeah,
nowadays.
And then they called him a dead hunky after that. So they were back and forth. It was a funny, groundbreaking racial skit back then. But we got a chance to listen to Richard. So the whole story goes, everybody's parents had these party records, and when they leave it out, you go check it out and listen. So I heard his routines over and over and over and over again, but I still laugh to this day if I listen to it. So he's the greatest in my mind. That's everybody defers to it.
Well, he changed like he in a way like what's the name of that Jewish guy who got arrested and did heroin? One of the other originators from the 50s, fucking Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce, yeah.
Like Lenny Bruce revolutionized it in a way, and he kind of has, kind of set the path.
Yeah, he took the blows.
He definitely
crossed the barrier of language and social matter and things of that nature. Because Richard Pryor started out clean because he was doing mimicking Bill Cosby, who was his idol at the time, and then once he started going blue and the 70s kicked in and free love and sex and drugs, then he just spoke his mind because he had a very dark background. And once he started
Peoria.
Yeah.
Mom was a hooker. Yeah. He's part Puerto Rican too. I think his grandma was Puerto Rican. But yeah, mom was a hooker. So he grew up
and his grandmother was a madam.
Yeah. And a madam. So he grew up in a whorehouse. Yeah, in a brothel in Peoria, Illinois, where they have Caterpillar equipment.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been out to Peoria. I drove there once.
I've performed there many times.
What's the name of that? Jukebox.
Yep.
Jukebox. What's some of your favorite clubs that you've done? Have you done State? Madison? No.
No, it was segregated when I first started, to be honest. Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I think there's more. I think
it's
Mary Lindsay
better now.
I think Mary Lindsay kind of bridged the gap between North and South Side comedy. And so more North Side comics would come to Jokes and Notes, and then subsequently guys would go that way. And then, Zanies finally opened up, to being more.
When Brian took over, because Haas, what's his name? Not Bill Haas. It's fucking Steve's dad. It was like he had his headliners. Yeah, Bert. He had his headline. Like I remember I was talking to T Murph, right? He was like, I cannot get past the Zanies. This is before Brian came in.
Well, that was, back in the day. I'm talking, 90s. So I made it through the door on Bert once, and then once I got in, I was in, But I know how to adjust
Old Town.
humor. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely Old Town.
Did you ever do Vernon Hills?
No. And I spoke to Brian, who was out in Nashville, and I said, yeah, I've done all of them except St. Charles. And he's like, well, that's by design. I'm like, he literally admitted it. And I was like, what he didn't realize is I actually had developed a following out there because George Benson performed in a theater out there, and I saw it online, and the tickets were like discounted. So I reached out to the promoters in the theater and said, I have a following, and let me help, push the idea, because nobody's heard about this show, and you want more black people because George Benson's, a legend guy. So I said, but in return, I don't open it.
So this is like the Batavia area, St. Charles area.
Yeah, St. Charles. Yep. And they let me open. And it was nothing but white people.
The Comedy Cabin.
Oh, no, I mean, this is
the Comedy Barn, not Barn.
No, whatever theater there is out there.
So it's not, it's not the Pheasant Run.
That's where George Benson was performing that night. Yeah. And that's how I got into that, know that I was capable of performing for that audience, but I still never did the club out there.
No, Pheasant, was the Pheasant Run, right? Yeah. They closed it down now. They closed it.
So or burned it down.
Huh? On purpose, probably.
Yeah, but some kid, I think, got arson charged for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I just saw that story.
There's all these fires because the Whip Theater burned down, but that was like an ice machine. I don't know if it was in Edison Park. Tony Valley put that together. There's this place in Waukegan, People's Choice, right? It burned down. It was a video store. Now he has this big, giant, like video store, video game stuff. Like it's fun. A lot of fires.
Yeah, well, the TNT Comedy Hook, which was one of the places I started with in the South Suburbs, is in Lansing. As a matter of fact, somebody redid it, but it was connected to a place called Outriggers, and we had our show Sunday and Monday, gone.
Just set a fire, but no, like people don't realize how like segregated. Like there was a north side, like I said, like T Murph didn't get in. Like when I grew up, I was doing the mics on north side, and it was like north side, south side,
right, and black, white,
black,
or whatever,
yeah, black, white.
But to be honest, it's not even. I don't think it's maliciously done. I think it's cultural as well, because there are some black comedians that white people won't get. Yeah. No, I'm just saying they'll sit there and they say, I don't get it. It's not funny. I don't, the references don't matter, and vice versa. So I don't look at it as being diabolically racist, but it is segregated, based on race. And then, as a comedian, if you're not generally mainstream or broad-based in your writing, you play to a niche. People still do that. I mean, it's certain white
Latino
comics.
rooms,
Latino
comics.
Yeah.
Did you black rooms is where you grew up?
Yeah.
The black rooms.
Mm-hmm.
When was it? Do you remember the first what would you consider white room you did or
Zanies? No, actually before that, way before. Matter of fact, it was a place out near Kankakee, Bourbonnais. It was called Wisecrackers.
Kankakee, that's white.
Yeah. It was super white too. This was like 93, 94, and it was still featuring like undeveloped. No, I actually got headlines. Thank you. And but my first joke was, really, people, y'all gonna bring me to a place they drinking beer in the buckets, a bunch of white people out in the field, and it's called Wisecrackers.
Crackers.
Yeah, exactly.
Honky crackers, white people.
Right. So, had fun with that though.
But getting back, favorite rooms.
I like the Laugh Factory Hollywood is a dope room, and improv.
Just Chocolate Sundays, or did you start doing regular?
I've still only done Chocolate Sundays, so I'm not out there enough. I'm sure I can get booked now because I've been doing it long enough, but I don't pursue LA clubs because they don't really pay.
No, they don't.
I mean, you get a name, then you get a weeknight, maybe they'll do. I don't even know what the deals are out there. I just don't pursue it.
Did you fly out and get bumped and never did a thing, or you end up getting
I flew out and got bumped for the second show. Okay. So I went up the first set.
So you went up, right?
And then right before
who bumped you?
Chris Rock bumped everybody. They scratched the list. It was like, Chris Rock is here, nobody else is going up. And we just sat there and watched. Then one time, I was just out there and I was going up, and the show before us ran long, but it was like Kevin Nealon and
Kevin, I love Kevin.
Adam Sandler and the other dude from Wayne's World.
Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey. Yeah. So we were just like, fuck it, we'll just watch. We were glad to be in there. So that was cool.
What people don't get, like, I saw Bill Burr at the Chicago Theater, right? But then when I went to LA Comedy Store, I would just go, this is what I would do when I was doing comedy. I wouldn't do open mics, because I did an open mic. At the time it was open mic. So I did one open mic in LA. It was one of the weirdest things that I did them here. They're fun, but it was,
right.
And this is like this current generation. So somebody made a homeless joke, and the host was like, you can't talk about that or something. I was just like, I was like, I'm done. So I would just go to the store. I'd sit there till 2 until Don Barris would come out in the OR original. Did you do the main or?
I've done them all. I've been all up and down that building. Yeah.
Main.
The belly. Yeah.
The belly. The belly the first time. That's when I found out what the roast battles were they were doing like a few years ago. There was a girl there, and she's like, I got this ticket. We're going to go see Joe Rogan. You want to see Joe Rogan? He's in the main room. And then the ticket we have was like, oh, this is actually for the belly room. So we go up there, and that's what, what's his name? Moses, whatever, they were doing. And I was like, what is this shit?
Yeah.
And I saw the Cholo guy. I forgot his fucking, the guy who went to prison, George Perez.
Yeah, he's a rough dude.
Yeah. He's still a strip club DJ.
Yeah, he's a rough dude.
Strip clubs? You like strip clubs?
Don't do them.
Did you ever do them?
Nah, I've even had jokes about not doing strip clubs. Like I said, I already had hoes. I don't get.
I didn't have hoes. So.
That's just like going to the Taste of Chicago with no tickets.
Yeah.
You're not gonna eat. Why go?
So I would go to the strip clubs in Miami, where you can eat for a little bit extra money in the back room. But one time I found out, like, one time they started accepting credit cards. Yeah, but this is what they would do. They'd go, like, they're not just going to take your credit cards. You can call the credit card company and be like, hey, my stuff got rejected.
Right.
Woo. So they take your ID, they make you sign something, like a whole thing, and they get your ID and they photocopy. Like, so if you're gonna call the credit card company,
dispute it. Yeah,
we got this right here.
Right.
Like, you are.
Are you saying it's not your face in these titties, sir?
Yeah. So I was like, it happened I go. I won't mention the club, but it was in South Miami, and it's still around. And then I'd come back, and then I was like, fuck. For the next 2 months, I'd have to work off.
From the...
Yeah, I remember I went, and I was like, I didn't remember what they let. I told my friend, I was like, can you take me back to the strip club? I just want to see. I don't remember. I got so drunk, I was like, I don't remember how she looked. I was like, I'm just curious who I slept with. I want to see her. He's like, I'm not taking you back, because it's going to happen again.
Absolutely. No. Miami's got the top flight strippers for sure. It's like that movie with Jennifer Lopez when they was hustling guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cardi B did that, right? They would drug people and hustle them or something like that. OJ Lamont?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is he friends with strippers? I always see these dancers and strippers in his videos. Or something.
I don't know if they're strippers. They just happen to be in decent shape.
Yeah, because he's always in some booty shaking videos he's doing. Are you the road? What's your balance with family life, road, Chicago, Riddles? Like, when you were younger, were you on the road?
Oh, I was a collegiate comic.
Oh,
predominantly. So, like, if you were on Comic View in the 90s, then you were a star.
Did you have an agent, or did you did that yourself?
Just a college booking dude. But I've never really had a Hollywood agent or any representation like that throughout my career. But back in the day, if you were on Comic View and Def Jam, then you were a star to the students, and they would get these big budgets together, especially like Black History Month, February, and then Homecoming Month and stuff like that, and then when Welcome to Campus. So I had 3 seasons when I would really be working in a heavy rotation on schools. Then I did the NACA convention, which is this whole big convention where 5,000 kids come representing schools all over the country, and they select, you showcase, and they select you, and they sign you up right there for gigs. And then, sometimes you get a gig at one school, they'll do a block, and 3 other schools will take you. So you start out working that Monday, and you're getting Monday through Friday, in schools in different areas, all type of Ivy League, everything, man. So did that for a while. That's why I didn't have to go out to chase Hollywood, because I was making money. A lot of guys were going out there sleeping on couches, and I hear the horror stories, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Plus I had a family, and I started stand-up, I was already 27, so
that's good, I think.
Yeah,
it's like you're an adult, and
Yeah, but I had a responsibility, you know what I mean? So my mortgage and things of that nature, so I had to be serious about it. I wasn't chasing a dream, I was pursuing a craft and a career. And so it worked out, and now the funny thing is, time after time again, city to city, they're adults now and they come to the shows and they might, they have a story, man, you came to my homecoming in 98. There'd be a big old bouncer dude with the beard and he got his son, his 15-year-old son, and I was at his school. So I see a lot of people like that.
He was like, I saw your show and then I conceived this little motherfucker after your show. I've
had several people that have met their spouses and made children after meeting at comedy shows. Because I used to do 6 nights a week at 3 different clubs for like 5 years on the South Side.
So it's just all Chicago.
Yeah, all Chicago. But the college stuff is nationwide.
Did you stop doing the colleges? I heard colleges changed.
I changed. I heard,
like Seinfeld talk about it. I heard Rock talk about it.
It's harder.
They're militant.
Yeah, they're very
purple hair,
socially conscious, and not all of them, but you can. If I got booked at a school, I could figure out a set to get by, but I wouldn't be enjoying myself. You know what I mean? I would just be pandering to the fact that it's kids, if they even listen. Then I don't know the references, I don't know the music, so that's on me. But still, I'm not trying to be that guy again.
What's the music that you grew up with? You like?
I'm R&B mostly, and then early hip hop. Hip hop up until the early 2000s. That's my genre. Matter of fact, not even that far up for us. The songs that I know top to bottom. I'm Biggie, Tupac, Jay-Z, Rakim, KRS-One. As far as, and once Drake got on the scene, I was pretty much out of it.
How do you feel about the new, like right now, let's say, new hip hop, the 6ix9ine, Extension?
I don't know that stuff.
I can't fuck with 6ix9ine.
I don't know that stuff, man.
Do you like 6ix9ine?
I try to listen to some of their stuff, man, and it don't resonate, and then the flows, the beats, the topics, everybody's on pills and shooting guns and, right. And then the auto-tune, so yeah, so I'm a traditional hip hop artist fan.
Yeah. Auto-tune. I don't know if you've seen, I saw an auto-tune artist. It's a reggaeton guy. I forgot his name. But I saw him at some fest in Chicago, and then I saw him perform. Brian Myers. I don't know if you guys. It's a reggaeton thing. He sounds like he's a Brian Myers, but he has like a low pitch in the songs, low pitch voice, and you see him in person. It's like it's nothing. It's nothing.
And I hate to be like I don't want to become the old guy that don't, our music was better. You kids, this is garbage, but it's just trash, So I try, but I like J. Cole, as far as the current guys. There's another young cat out named Simba who's spitting. His shit is ridiculous. So I keep an eye on every once in a while LA Leakers and see who's hot with the freestyles and such.
I was really into Young Dolph until he got killed in Memphis.
Yeah.
There's a saying, you can be good, but you can't be better than the guys. Like in the hood. Growing up, did you feel that any jealousy or animosity, or you stayed in your neighborhood? You left?
Oh, I left early, man, because I was moving some things in the streets, so I already had money and cars and stuff like that. So
that's how you got subway money.
So you can't, you can't sleep where if you're the main guy, the guy with the dough, then you're a target. Even though it was a different era then, but I moved into a high rise where I had a doorman and security, and I was on the 16th floor, so I could sleep at night. So
during that era, did it ever get racy? Did you have moments where it's like, oh shit, did people come after you? Like,
yeah, I've had a couple of. I've been robbed at gunpoint a couple of times. I had the FBI on me at one point.
What happened to the FBI? Because my friend got raided and his grandma. And we still laugh about it.
Now, see, when I was living with my mother, I got raided for weed, but she was out of town, and they found 6 dime bags, and that's all I had at the house. It was like it was a big rumor that I was a big, kingpin, but I was just selling bags. But what we would do, we would get everybody's money together, and then go get one package, and then give them their packages. We didn't have it, we just went and got it. So the rumor was, that I was a big guy. And they came and they ain't find shit, and it's not even the case. Later in life, though, things kind of escalated. When it came to the feds, actually. So I already said my father, I wasn't raised by him, and I don't have his last name. So somebody in a circle that knew my father and my sister, his daughters, knew that I was the man, right? And so they snitched, but they said Wilborn. They said Damon Wilborn.
Your dad?
That's my father's last name. And George Wilborn, comedian, is my first cousin because his father and our fathers are brothers. Anyway, so they go to my father's office. My father called me and said, hey, 2 FBI agents just came here looking for you. So I don't know what you're doing, but you need to stop it immediately, right? So I said, well, what'd you say to them? What happened? They said, well, they asked me, where is Damon Wilborn? And he said, I don't know a Damon Wilborn.
Because he don't?
He didn't lie. made the call. And then that's when basically I told him, what my circumstances was. And I had a plan. I had an exit strategy. I was going to open a franchise, had the money, but had no way to use it because it was
credit. It's a credit thing?
No, not even credit. You just have to be liquid with a certain amount. You have to have like $40,000 minimum cash available. That was for the build out, and the franchise fee was back then only $7,500. So you had to show maybe $85,000, something like that. But I was in a food court, so that reduced my situation. So I only had to show 40 plus the franchise fee. So what I did was I put the money. He said, just put the money in 3 or 4 of my grandmother's accounts, and she'll write you a check for the lump sum.
Everything in my mom's name.
Pretty much.
Timers, yeah.
Yeah. So it was like I was legit, and that's how I got out. And I didn't look back.
How'd you get in? Because I was in it. I was in the game for a little bit.
My older brother, he used to sell weed. Showed me how to sell weed. It was more like a necessity because he got locked up. I'm 16. My mother's single. She just had a child, so she had to take off work for a while. And, now I got to help. We were going through some things. She was on chapter 13. There was a whole bunch of shit going on. And so I'm selling a little weed, So then what I did was I took my little weed money and I went back to school, because I had dropped out. So I paid for my own school. High school.
High school.
Right. So once I wanted to go back to school, my father said he'd go half with me, and I paid my own way. And I graduated, and then I went to that's how I got the job at City Hall. I did City Hall 5-6 years. Then I went to Subway, then I went to comedy. That's been my whole work experience.
Okay, so it was like, even with comedy, it was a family thing, supporting the family. Mine was, it was a women, right? Because you got women, right? Obviously.
A little bit.
I didn't, right? Because, I'm like, I was chubbier, I wasn't that tall. I kind of learned it as I was older. But then I was like, I bought drugs, right? And it wasn't weed, it was the white drug. But, and I didn't know that there's certain women, like, loved that white drug. And if you had it, like, you didn't need to be 6 foot.
Exactly.
I didn't need a 6-pack. It's like, this was my 6-pack.
Right.
Right there.
You were a regular Bill Cosby.
Consensual with that. Right. And I figured it out. He was snuck it. I didn't. I was like, holy shit. But
that would, if you wanted to lure women back in those days with that, because see, you have to look at what cocaine was, the white drug. In the 80s and early 90s, it was just the powder, and it was a socially thing. Like at City Hall, all the politicians, I had customers that were, higher ups and such. But they were just
stock market guys.
Just tooting a little blue, taking a little line. You go to a party, it'd be on the plate. When I showed up, Damon's here. It'd be like a saucer would appear instantly.
That's amazing.
But then, they started doing the crack shit, and that's when people started freebasing it, and then the crack became the thing, and that's when it really took a spin. But back then, it was just a social gathering, like weed is now.
Were you there for when the crack came in?
I've never seen crack in person.
Okay.
Like never once. Never learned how to make cocaine into crack. Never been around nobody that smoked the crack and watched them do the rocks. None of that shit.
Somebody had, it was a Chicago comic. I thought it was like Eli Hamilton, but it wasn't. But somebody had a bit about you don't see old crackheads.
Right.
Like, you don't see young crackheads. It's like an old drug now. Everybody has pills or whatever. Like I grew up around, not crackheads, but I'm in the suburbs. But at Zion, we had what's his name? He had a bicycle. Everybody had the neighborhood crackhead. And we had ours who would sell, let me see if I can find this. He would sell lawnmowers. Hold on, I think I made an album for this dude. He would sell lawnmowers. Let me find, have you ever had sex with a woman in crutches?
No. Does she have both her legs?
So she got in a car accident that day. And then she was one of my, not ride or dies, but she...
Right. Down for whatever.
Was down. And then she was like, hey, you coming over? I was like, yeah, come over. And then she showed up. And then the van pulled up to in Zion, where we used to hang out with the crackhead. I'll find him in a second. And I'm looking, and I'm like, me and my friend were just sitting there drinking. It's like, why is she getting out of the car yet? Why is it taking so long? And I see her, and then she's like, in the crutches. I was like, hell no. She got on a motorcycle that day, I think with a boyfriend or something. And then she had the hospital tag. And then I was like, out of respect for showing up like that, I'm still going to sleep with you. But
yeah, of course you were. She could have showed up in a body cast as long as she cut a hole.
Hustle Man, dude. Where the fuck is Hustle Man? Let me just look up Hustle really quick. Hustle Man. Hustle Man was his name. So did you have a neighborhood? I just want to show you Hustle Man.
The hustle guy.
Oh, here he is, Hustle Man. What is this? Oh, it's a video. We can't watch this.
Okay.
But it was the crackhead. He would sell, like one time he showed up to me with VHS tapes. This is a few years ago, right? VHS is out. And I was like, Hustle Man.
Right. He still got
I was like, Hustle Man, nobody has, just you know what VHS is? No. It's like Betamax, but after that.
That was before VHS, so we definitely don't know about that.
Do you remember Blu-ray?
Yeah.
No, not Blu-ray. There was a fucking, I don't know if you know this.
Laser discs.
Laser disc.
So it started out with Beta, and then they went to VHS, and then the high tech cats, because this was everything new technology wise, all the ballers had it. So then they had the laser discs, but they only lasted for a short time, and then the DVDs came out.
Did you ever watch anything on a laser disc?
Yeah, probably something like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something crazy, because it was only like blockbuster films that were on laser.
I just want to see if this still exists. Look up Voyage of the Mimi. Voyage of the Mimi. We saw this in school because for some reason schools would hustle. It's a bureaucracy. They get laser discs. They had Apple computers. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, there it is. The Voyage of the Mimi real quick. Let's see if there's go to video. I want to just see real quick. This is what I saw as a kid. This is the only laser disc I ever saw. I mean, just go somewhere in the middle.
Sunburst Communications.
We saw this shit. I don't know how much they spent on this laser disc so we could watch Voyage. This is it. This is my, this is obviously not laser disc, but this was Voyage of the Mimi.
Yeah, that don't even look like VHS. Well, yes, it is. It's tracking. Now, tracking is a thing.
Tracking?
Yes.
Tracking.
Yeah, remember?
It started getting like fuzzy.
So you have to adjust the tracking on it, and then it would stop the line. So that's tracking lines right there.
That is tracking lines.
Yeah.
So my dad, he went to Sam's Club and got the dual VCR.
Double DV.
Double VCR, and we used to go to a place called Connor's Video. It was in Highwood, across from Fort Sheridan.
You could rent and then you could copy.
And then you get the little piece of paper.
Yeah, put it in the thing like a cassette.
Put in a thing, and my dad would get the long play, so it would be shitty quality because you would get three movies on one video, so that would degrade the quality.
Yeah, it would.
So exactly. I had Aliens, Alien 3.
Everybody had this story. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
we would tape over the whole, and then, like you say, you put it on a long play so you can get 6 hours off the tape instead of 2, and then you could put 3 movies on there. Yeah, that was crazy. And Hustle Man still has them.
I forgot to tell you. So Hustle Man shows up with the VHSs, and I'm like, Hustle Man, like nobody used VHS. He's like, hold up. He had a VHS TV combo in the back of his bicycle, dude. I was even, yeah, he had it on the back of his bicycle. Let me find Hustle Man really quick here. Albums. Man, I had this like ready for, do you remember the birth of your first son?
Oh, of course.
Huh?
Yeah, I definitely remember. That was a Monday night. The Bears were playing.
Did they win?
That I don't know. They were playing the Vikings. I know that. It rained. I remember everything about it.
Okay, Hustle Man driving his bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
Selling a lawnmower. So pulling the lawnmower on his bicycle. Hustle Man, let's see what it says. Hustle Man. Oh, we got fucking high as fuck with Hustle Man that night. It's fucked up. Like I heard the birds, the lights came out, and I was like, man, I'm allegedly doing coke, drinking with a crackhead. I was like, whatever.
Whatever.
This us and Hustle Man, because he'd pull up. He's been driving around Zion for like 20-something. Oh, there it is. There's the VHS. I was a kid.
Now he said, "Oh, don't worry about what you're gonna play it on. I got something to play it on."
Let me show you. This is
combo.
This is a TV VHS combination, Justin, right here. If you can see that. Oh, he had
Wow.
It might be a Dyson.
That's a nice the canister vacuum cleaner.
Don't ever buy. The thing I would never buy from him was one time it was pastries. He had a bag of all these pastries, right? And we started eating them, and the mom's like, "Do you check the expirations?"
Got them out the trash.
I was like, "Yeah, dude, just got them out." Yeah, it was all trash. And one time he sold me a bag of ketchup for $1. It was Wendy's ketchup, the new ketchup with the little packets.
Right.
And then, do you hot dogs?
Yeah.
How's your diet? Because I'm changing my diet now. I had a hot dog today and I was dizzy. Well, I had a double dog.
Well, moderation. I venture off, but primarily my wife and we do fish. So she's a pescatarian, but I do turkey, I do chicken. And when I feel like it, I might go back to Portillo's and get a jumbo beef hot dog, but it's very rare. And
do you not eat a lot of red meat?
Not at all.
Is that?
Not a lot.
Is that a black thing?
No,
I've noticed
it's a health thing.
It's a
Red meat and pork are, two of the bad things that you can eat on a regular basis because you don't digest it well. It backs up in your colon.
Oh, okay. Because I got my test and there was like some liver thing that was kind of high. Now, what's your go-to drink? Have you ever blacked out?
No, I never blacked out. Well, I wouldn't say I blacked out, but I overslept. So I ended up getting drunk with a chick. But I used to drink champagne a lot. I drink tequila, champagne primarily. And we kicked it, right? And then we did it.
I miss those days.
Man, and then I was like, I'm just going to lay here for a second. And I woke up and it was past married time. I'm like,
did you have missed calls?
Oh, shit. And at worst, they're waking up. First of all, you don't know where you are, right? Then when you realize where you are, you're like, oh, shit, I know where I'm not supposed to be, and that's here. And that happened a long, long time ago. I wasn't married yet, though.
Okay.
But I had a girlfriend.
Did you have excuse?
No. I just went on in.
What'd you say? What'd you do?
You just go ahead, man. You real quiet, and you just try to just snuggle up in the bed and sleep it off. Clearly, she didn't become my wife, so it didn't work. But
no.
Yeah, don't listen to me.
No, but the second time I remember that girl who had she thought she was taking me out for breakfast, and she was for my birthday. I remember the second time we're together, I don't remember even blacked out. So I remember the next day she was like, hey, was something different last night? I was like, what do you mean? She was like, oh no, I got up and I was like, hey, do we have sex or something like that? She was like, oh, that's why you were so different this time. I guess she was on top and she looked out. And then
I did fall asleep.
Passed out.
I fell asleep on some head once.
Mm-hmm. She was giving you, that happened to Ronnie Ray.
That was terrible. I felt so bad, but I was laying there, I was chilling and one little snore. She's like, are you asleep? I'm like, you gonna blame me? Clearly, you're not doing a great job if I'm dozing off on some head.
Do you have any advice for young comedians coming? Oh, wait. Before the advice.
Okay.
We talked to Eddie Murphy, but any other like comedians growing up, like Chicago? Mm-hmm. Who's the guy that died? Baby's Kids.
Robin Harris.
Did you ever work with Robin Harris?
Didn't work with him, but I saw him the night he died.
Oh, really?
He performed. He and Bernie Mac were at the Regal Theater. He had 2 shows. And the second show, he was particularly mean to this guy who I knew that was a big shot at City Hall. But it was just like the Nutty Professor. He was a big guy, about 6'6", 500 pounds. And he sat in the front on the first seat. And he came off the stage. He came down off stage and just laid into this dude. Then went to his hotel and died that night. And I was like, that was God, because it was past laughing. We were done. We were like, leave him alone. This is terrible. And so I did see him work live that night. But coming up Chicago, Bernie Mac and George Wilborn, Tony Schofield, Kenny Howe. These are my guys. These are my big brothers, and who kind of walked me through the game. I came up with Deion Cole and B. Cole and people.
Did you do any Big Cole's movies?
Yeah, I'm the lead in this latest. I didn't do that one.
Where was it? Where were you at during that one?
I was around, but I didn't get cast, so I missed that one. But he had one after that called a Get Together.
Get Together.
With Tony Roberts and Michael Collier and a bunch of other people. Michael Collier.
Oh, you were in that one.
I wasn't in that one either.
You weren't in Get Together?
No, I wasn't in Get Together. So I got into, he has one called Past Due that didn't come out, because the guy passed away who had the major files, and like he died of natural causes. Something happened to him. But they gave me Heaven on 7, which is his latest one, which is on Tubi right now, and I'm the lead. So he really made up for it. And we're working on some other things and coming up. So me and B. Cole are real good brothers. Matter of fact, I had him feature for Sherry Shepherd last weekend at Riddles.
What was that? Is that app still going on? It was Black Fix or something, or
Urban Flicks.
Urban Flicks.
Yeah.
Is that, you had a show?
I have a series on there. Yeah, and actually they're resurging. They got brand new programming and such, and there's a lot of good shows on there, a lot of good films. But Urban Flicks TV. Yeah. I have a show called Laugh Tonight with Damon Williams. I took a lot of comics from here. Kristen Toomey was on there. It's people that you might know. Just Niche. Big Keys.
Kristen's
Mike
drinking?
Sam.
She's still drinking? I know she's on and off.
I haven't seen her. In a while.
You smoke, Kristen, one quick thing. I remember if you ever got a DUI, you got to take these classes. Right? I didn't get a DUI, but I had to take, I went to Mundelein, a suburb, and I had like less than 2 grams of weed. So I had to take one of these classes, like drug, whatever. And then they go and they're like, remember, I don't know if Dare was around when you went to school, but they taught you about drugs. And one of them was like, hey, if you, one marijuana cigarette was worse than 1,000 cigarettes. Now we know it's like, all right, the opposite.
Lies.
Weed, lies. But I remember.
Otherwise, Snoop would be dead. That's my case study. I don't care what nobody says about the ill effects of marijuana. Until Snoop has a problem with his health,
you can't die.
Yeah, it's not that.
No, it's and then
because nobody smokes that much weed.
No, I mean, well, I heard Willie was a big
Willie Nelson.
Yeah,
but Snoop, he's walking around with the bags, and he's constant. Like he DJ'd on a cruise ship once, the Tom Joyner cruise, and even on the cruise, he lit up, and was nothing nobody could say about it. Nothing nobody would do about it. And then the captain at the end of his set, before the ship was about to take off, wanted to meet him. And Snoop stood there put his blunt out, took a picture with the captain, and got off the ship.
It's nonstop. You can't. You smoked weed, right, Justin? Before, yeah. It can't get. Man, one time quick thing. Same house in Zion, I outsmoked a stoner, right? Because I was drinking, and again, like didn't really get ladies like you did, so I was thirsty. You don't understand how how it could really. It's how like a mother can allegedly overpower a car if she feels she
right.
If you're that thirsty, you could overpower. Like I remember, I was the type of dude. I'd smoke a little bit of weed. I'd freak out. I couldn't do nothing. We passed 7 blunts. We went 7 blunts, and the girl was a stoner. And then she was like, I was like, let's smoke another one. She's like, damn, you're one of those. She's like, I can't stop. And my friends were just looking at me like, what? Like this motherfucker can't even smoke.
He
weed.
don't smoke. Right.
And he was so thirsty to get some pussy that. So
you overconsume.
Yeah, thirst or motherly love are the 2 things that can help. Did you have any last words? No, you're not going to die or anything like that. Any last things you want to say? We're winding out on time. Then we'll go to plugs.
So we're not doing like advice to comedians. Like you want to say anything before you croak?
Advice, last words, or anything that maybe pisses you off that you want to get off your chest.
Now, right now, I just think the climate of comedy and the cancel culture and all that needs to go away. If you come to a show, expect jokes.
It's jokes.
Right.
It's literally
especially on the lives, like in the building. Like I'm not saying if you're doing a Netflix special because you have too much vast reach, but if a person comes to see a comedian that does what they do, you should let them do what they do.
Trying to make you laugh.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, even if it's offensive, if you're a cringe comic, you're going to do cringy shit the whole set. But it might be a person that don't realize you're a cringe comic and came to the building like, oh, this is adorable. But so what? You came to the show. Let it ride. These are jokes. And that's one of my biggest things. I just think we need the freedom to go back to where you can do fearless comedy. I'm not really worried about being canceled because I feel like I ain't really been activated yet. So, what you going to do? Stop me from going to Riddles? I'll be okay. But I just think that's one of the main things that's bothered me. And then I want us to be less divided, man, as a people. Like, you're on social media and you see comments, it's left and right and everything. There's no in between. There's no happy medium.
Middle, right?
Yeah, there's none of that. It's just, if this guy's not your guy, he's a fucking clown. He's a joke. Just like with the Miro campaign. Like there's a clip up right now with Brandon Johnson on NBC5, and he's in a classroom and some kid asks, "Are you going to ban guns?" And he goes into this elementary explanation, but the people like, this guy's lost. He has no clue, no idea. He's talking to a 3rd grader. You want him to speak in vernacular, you know what I'm saying? But he's a clown. He's a joker. We're doomed, And these are all white people, And then all the black people like, give him a chance. He could do it. Blah blah blah. And I just love to see us more unified. So I go to Canada a lot, Edmonton particularly, and it's a melting pot. So our shows
up in Canada.
Brother from here. He would play Canadian football and he moved up there and he married his wife and he brought us up. So I started going in the early 2000s. Yeah, but Edmonton is way out there. Edmonton is like
Bret Hart area, right? That's is that Alberta or?
Definitely Alberta. Yeah, and when I've been going for 20 years, so it used to be really underdeveloped, but now it's really kind of metropolitan. But everybody's there, because a lot of people migrate there, but they all hang out. It's not a black comedy show. It's not a white comedy show. It's a bunch of people laughing and joking, and they got free healthcare. So
because Chicago is segregated as well. Like I live in Kenosha now. When I go out, it's actually kind of, I see a mix, even the grocery stores, things like that. But Chicago is like, you got the north side
neighborhood, this neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, but Hopefully we can all meet in the middle at the comedy show. That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then social media, you want to plug or?
DamonWilliamsComedy.com gets you to everything. All my links. So DamonWilliamsComedy.com, Damon Williams Comedy on Instagram.
Riddles every weekend.
Riddles, everything. Just go to DamonWilliamsComedy.com. It'll take you where you need to be. It shows you all my tour dates. I'm on what I'm calling Still Funny AF tour because I've been doing this thing. Just celebrated 30 years. I have a residency for the summer at the City Winery once a month.
Oh, winery.
Yeah,
so it's a good show.
It's a nice spot, dog. Yeah, so June 14th, July 22nd, and then August 20th, I'm doing a summer at the City. It's gonna be comedy, gonna be live band, DJs. It's just it's a vibe, and it's on weeknights, so it'll be like a Wednesday or a Thursday, middle of the week stretch breaks. I'm really looking forward to that because I celebrated my 30th anniversary there, and it sold out, and it was bananas, and it was beautiful, and all that's on my social media.
And then like jokes and comedy, the DJ jokes. I mean, I love coming up to music, but
yeah,
like it was a good time. So follow the Lobo Den Podcast on Instagram. There's a Facebook group called the Lobo Den on Facebook. If you want to join it, if you share any memes from that, you probably get fired from your job. But it's fun. It's all in fun. There's like horrible memes, a little offensive.
Who gives a shit?
It's all
man.
Like people message me like if I'd be on the group. I'm on your Facebook. So TikTok, I might start posting videos again. I don't know.
Yeah, that's tricky because they don't. I put in the effort and then they don't hit, and I'm like, fuck TikTok, and I'm not gonna give them all the permissions to do all the shit that probably would make my shit go viral.
What I do is I download the app, I upload it. It's what I used to do. I upload a video, then I delete it. You know what I mean? Like I just don't. I'm not a TikTok. I'm a YouTube man. I like YouTube and watching stuff. There's a Patreon too, so I got some episodes right now. So
sweet.
It comes out. I'm gonna record a new one too about. The Patreon, it's inside information. I'll drop names, but I won't do anything.
Yeah, so there's a guy named Jay Davis, and he did a series which is now on Tubi called Creative Hustle, and it's a multicultural cast of Chicago artists that's doing skits and stand up and everything. So they're doing another showcase in June. Matter of fact, June 24th, there'll be a Riddles for the next wave for the next season. 6 episodes. It's like he patterned it after. Robert Townsend's Partners in Crime, which launched Tommy Davidson and Damon Williams and Robin Harris. All of them came from that. So he's doing it like that. Shouts out to Robert Townsend, Chicago legend. And that's
Robert Townsend from Chicago?
Yes, sir.
Fuck, I didn't even know that. What was the fucking movie where they make fun of
Hollywood Shuffle.
Hollywood Shuffle.
Yeah, like, Winky Dinky Dogs.
Was it? We need you to play more like. Was it?
Be blacker.
Be blacker.
Yeah, that's black exploitation. You killed my brother.
And I just watched a video today on how fucking Scary Movie, how they took it away. Harvey Weinstein took away Scary Movie from the Wayans after the second one. They're like, you know what? This is our nose, motherfucker. But then, I don't know, something happened to Harvey Weinstein. So
a little something.
Yeah, a little something.
Sort of like the spokesperson for Subway.
Jared.
See, when I got my Subway, it was pre-Jared. Jared was just a fat pedophile when I had my store. Then by the time he made that, he really transformed that franchise.
I started eating Subway because I lost weight. I was doing the rolls
fresh.
And then I was
Nobody heard of Subway when I had my store. When I was downtown, I was up against Mr. Sub and Fantano's, like with my walking distance.
Oh, Mr. Sub, man.
Yeah. So anyway,
Jersey Mike's.
Yeah.
Now we got.
Did Quiznos go out of business? Do we know?
They had rats on their commercials.
Order Quiznos like
how?
But they're not. There's not like one.
Where?
Yeah, my brother was like, I love Quiznos before they went out of business. I said, when did that happen?
It's hard to find a Quiznos. Yeah, I used to go. My buddy, the first time I ever allegedly did cocaine was at a Red Wing shoe store, but right next to it was a Quiznos. So we know it was.
Division.
Huh?
It's like division next to Old Town.
Cool. Well, now we have a boutique Quiznos.
The Kanye, is that burger place though on the south side, or he closed it? Kanye is
the Fat Burger?
Yeah.
I think it's owned by different people, but it's in the south suburbs in Orland. There's one there.
We made a trip to we went back in the day, and then we made another trip to.
This one actually is.
Is Taurus still around? Taurus Meats? What's south side spot?
Oh no, not really. No.
Good.
There was one on Stony. That was a car ran into it and they didn't build it back.
Yeah, I went there and they closed early.
Yeah,
it's still.
That's funny, man.
I was fucking pissed.
Taurus Flavors used to be the bomb. That's what I go to get a hoagie for like field trips when I was a kid.
Dude, I drove and it was like 5 o'clock. They closed at 6 and they were shut down. And I was like, all right.
I just won't do that again.
Yeah, so like Hillary's by me, but south side spot, favorite food. Last thing.
South side spot. Oh, there's a place called Two Fish right on 47th. near Hyde Park, and they have fried lobster tail.
Ooh.
It's like a snack, and it comes with fries, and that shit is the bomb.
Two Fish, Hyde Park.
Yep.
All right, that's where Wolf Larson. I did. I don't know if you saw him. He was an open mic, but he's a crazy white dude.
Okay.
Who lived in Hyde Park, but he might be dead now. And then if you want podcasts,
Long live.
specials, anything else, Justin, or are you too booked out or anything?
I don't even know when this episode's gonna come out.
I think we got 5 weeks, maybe 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Hey,
there's
make it evergreen, bro. We good.
We good. Okay,
Yeah.
Lobo Den.